Most people think they're being responsible with their money. They save. They avoid unnecessary spending. They put cash aside for emergencies. And then they make one mistake that quietly costs them hundreds of dollars every year. Not because they're reckless, not because they're bad with money, but because they trust the wrong account. And the crazy part? Most people don't even realize it's happening. Today, we're uncovering one of the simplest financial upgrades you can make. An upgrade that takes less than 10 minutes, requires no investing knowledge, and could put hundreds of extra dollars in your pocket every year. Welcome to Wealth Decoded. Today, the high-yield savings account. But before we talk about what it is, let's talk about what it's costing you not to have one. Imagine you've worked hard and managed to save $10,000. Not invested, not traded, just sitting safely in a savings account. Sounds responsible, right? Now here's the shocking part. If that account pays 0.1% interest, your $10,000 earns roughly $10 over an entire year. 12 months, $10. That's less than many people spend on lunch. Meanwhile, the bank takes your deposits, lends money out, earns interest, and continues making money from the cash sitting in your account. And that's where the real problem begins. Because while your money is barely moving, inflation never stops. Prices rise, rent rises, insurance rises, food prices rise. Everything gets more expensive, which means your savings may be growing on paper, while losing purchasing power in reality. You're doing the responsible thing and still falling behind. So if this is happening, why doesn't everyone switch? Because most people assume all savings accounts are basically the same. They are not, and that's where the high-yield savings account changes everything. A high-yield savings account, often called a HISA, works almost exactly like a traditional savings account. You deposit money, you can withdraw money, you can access it whenever you need it. The money doesn't bounce up and down like stocks. The difference? The interest rate. And that difference can be massive. Let's go back to our $10. Use an example. At 0.1% interest, you earn about $10. At 5%, you earn roughly $500. Same money, same balance, same safety. Nearly 50 times more interest, all because the money was sitting in a different account. Now here's something most people don't know. The highest paying savings accounts often come from banks you've never visited. In fact, many don't even have branches. No expensive buildings. No giant office towers, no nationwide network of physical locations. They are online-first banks. And because their operating costs are lower, they can often afford to pay customers significantly more. Ironically, the reason some banks pay higher interest is because they spend less money looking like a traditional bank. But if they're paying more, is there a catch? That's usually the next question. And it's a fair one. Because in finance, higher returns often mean higher risk. But this is one of the rare exceptions. With a legitimate high-yield savings account, your money is generally just as protected as it would be in a traditional savings account. In many countries, deposits are backed by government insurance programs up to specified limits. Your money isn't invested in the stock market. It isn't being used to buy shares of companies. It doesn't suddenly lose value because markets have a bad week. It remains cash, just cash that's working harder. But before you open one tomorrow, there are a few things most people never hear about. First, the interest rate is not guaranteed. Many people see a 5% rate and assume they'll earn that forever. Not necessarily. Unlike a certificate of deposit, savings account rates can change. If central banks lower interest rates, banks often lower savings rates too. The account remains useful, but the rate can move. And here's another surprise. The interest you earn is usually taxable. A lot of people don't realize this. They see 5% and assume they keep the entire 5%. In reality, taxes may reduce your effective return. The exact amount depends on where you live and your personal tax situation. Still, keeping 70% or 80% of a much larger return is usually far better than earning almost nothing. But there is one final reason high-yield savings accounts are so powerful, and it has nothing to do with getting rich. They're not wealth-building machines. They're not investment replacements. They're not shortcuts to financial freedom. Their real purpose is much simpler: protection. Because every financial plan needs a foundation, and that foundation is your emergency fund. Imagine losing your job tomorrow, or facing a major medical bill, or having your car break down unexpectedly. Would you want that money invested in stocks during a market crash? Probably not. You'd want it safe, available, ready immediately. That's exactly where a high-yield savings account shines. Your emergency fund stays protected, accessible, and productive, waiting quietly in the background. In fact, most high-yield savings accounts compound interest daily, which means your money earns interest, then earns interest on the interest, again and again and again, without any extra effort from you. And when you zoom out, that's really the lesson here. Building wealth isn't always about finding the next big opportunity. Sometimes it's about fixing the small leaks, because two people can save exactly the same amount of money. One earns almost nothing. The other earns hundreds of dollars every year, not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because they chose a better place to keep their cash. So imagine yourself 1 year from today. Your emergency fund is still there, still safe, still available. You never had to touch it. But instead of earning almost nothing, it quietly generated hundreds of dollars while you focused on living your life. No complicated strategy, no risky investments, no constant monitoring, just smarter savings. And sometimes, the simplest financial decisions produce the biggest long-term results. If you enjoyed this episode of Wealth Decoded, subscribe and join us every week as we break down the financial concepts that shape your future. Next week, the fastest mathematical strategy for eliminating debt, the Debt Avalanche Method. See you then.